Hey everybody, I want to thank you all for asking questions, submitting questions for my AMA, second one I've done. This one is celebrating 2,000 followers. Not that that's a lot compared to a lot of people I follow, but it's something. So yeah, the first question I got was from Macy Lewis at Macy Lewis 6. What age did you first start writing? Do you remember your first story you wrote? Writing was never a big part of my life growing up necessarily. I did some probably cheesy poems and things like that. I think I tried to write a song at one point that I don't really remember. The first thing I actually wrote on my own, not part of for a class or anything, was I did a play. I majored in theater, so I've done a lot of theater in my life. So yeah, I wrote a play based on my experiences running a kitchen for a bar or restaurant kind of place, and just the shit show that ended up being. So that was fun. I actually had that play produced a couple years ago and got to direct it and everything, and that was very cool. But the first thing I've really written was my current work in progress called The Gray Age, which is a fantasy story that, I started on a long time ago. A long time was like 7-8 years, and just really got back into it and decided to make a push on it during pandemic since I had so much free time. So yeah, I'm still working on that. I have the story finished and just working on editing, and I've already done one rewrite and got a little bit of feedback, and yeah, just gonna keep pushing through with that. I've written a lot of plays in my life as well, doing so much theater. Some of them have been produced and won some awards and everything like that. So that's just something. There you go. Fanny T. Crispin, my girl Fanny at Fantasy Books. I knew she would always come up with some good questions. So here we go. Favorite cocktail. I'm the kind of person when I'm drinking, it really just depends on the mood that I'm in, what I want to drink. I don't have a go-to for sure, but something if I see on the menu I'm probably going to try is, I love old fashions. Manhattans are good, but old fashions kind of a easy go-to at anybody does them. If you do something with like burnt orange or something like that in it, then it's definitely worth checking out, for me at least. Least favorite school class. God, school was so long ago. Who can even remember back that far? Probably, I would say biopsychology. Took that in college, and it was just, I took a lot of psych classes along with my theater degree and really enjoyed them, except for that one. It was more technical, like parts of the brain and functions and stuff like that. And I honestly just stopped going to it, which is probably not the best move looking back, but I still got a C minus, just not even going to class and just showing up for the test. So, there you go. What's a good Friday night look like to you? I've been bartending for a while, so Friday nights have traditionally been work nights for me because that's when you make the most money, but I've kind of arranged my schedule now that I'm the manager and don't have to work Friday nights, that a good Friday night, as sad as it is to say, is one where I don't get a call or a text from work about something. So yeah, I usually just come home, make myself some food, just chill out by myself, and that's about it. I've gotten pretty boring in my old age. So yeah, not that exciting. Favorite muffin? Specifically not a cupcake. I don't eat a ton of muffins in my life, but give me a classic blueberry muffin, I'm totally cool with that. So yeah, we'll just go with that. All right, Shannon Conway at Shannon Conways. A couple questions here from her. What's your favorite painting you've done and why? I thought about that one a lot since I read it, and I don't know if I have an answer. I swear that almost every time when I finish a painting, that is my current favorite painting. I just always I like to challenge myself and try new things and new styles and everything. So, if you went back and looked at all of my paintings throughout the years on like Instagram or something, you'd see that like no 2 or 3 are the same style or format or subject matter or anything like that. So yeah, I changed it up so much. But I think the one that really still sticks with me and resonates with, I did last fall, 4 panels of black and white trees. One of the tree had purple leaves as the only splashes of color on it, and it was like 4 feet wide and 2 feet tall and everything, and just it turned out as cooler than it was in my head. So that's, yeah, when I hung it up, it's really cool. I like that one a lot. Favorite painting by someone else? I don't know. I follow a lot of artists on TikTok, and they do some really cool things. And I follow some artists on Instagram and follow some artists on Twitter here. And I just love seeing anybody else's work, honestly. Yeah, so if anybody's an artist out there and wants to give me a follow, I'll follow back and check things out. I always get inspired by other people doing really cool stuff. When is my birthday? November 2nd, 1979. Gonna be 43 coming up in a couple months here, so that's whatever. It is what it is. Never want to really worry about age too much. Have you dabbled in other genres, or are you strictly a fantasy man? I kind of already answered that, I suppose. I've written a lot of plays, some sketch comedy stuff that we performed back in Colorado when I used to live in a little ski town, and I used to just produce, and we do like 40 plays in a night, like little sketches and everything, and the audience got to choose the order and everything. It was tons of fun. And I wrote the majority of the stuff that we were doing. And yeah, right before I left Colorado, I wrote a short play that was selected to go to a theater festival for all of Colorado and won an award and everything, and that was really awesome and made the whole audience cry. So it was pretty fun. That was cool. I've also written a lot of poetry lately. Something has like clicked in my brain. It was just like, all right, we're in poetry mode. And so this past month, or a little bit over a month, I've probably written over 100 poems, and I don't know where that came from necessarily, because I've never really written poetry too much before. I was friends with somebody who did a lot of poetry and kind of coaxed me, that's probably not the right word, but inspired me, I suppose, to write about things I saw in the bars, because I was working the door and working in restaurants and bars and stuff for a while. So he's like, you've got a kind of smarmy, just different kind of way of looking at things, so you should just write about what you see there. And so I have a handful of those that are too long to put up on Twitter probably, but maybe I'll go back and do some editing and see if they're worth anything now and post them again. They're fun, at least, sarcastic, seeing drunk people do stupid things and then commenting on it. All right, next question is from Karen Heslop. Not sure if I'm saying that right, but at K Heslop writes, is there a horror movie that you enjoyed a lot recently? I really liked the new Scream movie. I thought it was a nice return to the franchise, and I loved Scream when it came out, and liked all the movies since then, some of them better than others, and this is just a good kind of return for the franchise. But I wanted to give you one that's kind of under the radar, not necessarily recent. I think it came out around 2011 with Rebecca Hall, called The Awakening. If you like the movie, similar like in style and feel to The Others with Nicole Kidman back in the day, this definitely is a period piece, supernatural drama kind of thing, where she is somebody who debunks hauntings and things like that, and then ends up in a school in, I think it's the 1920s or something like that, and supernatural things are happening and she can't quite explain it. So it's a really good, just creepy, atmospheric kind of ghost story. So if you can find that anywhere, it's definitely worth checking out. Mina, probably my first Twitter friend, at FlintVibeENG. What would your pirate name be? And that is a question that I've definitely never been asked before and never really thought about. So I would say Farron Silvertooth. I just looked at a name generator and kind of put some things together, but Farron, that's a cool name. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with it. Okay, last question I have here from Anna Apart at Anna Apart. Tell me about your artwork. When did you start painting? What mediums do you work in? So I used to run a community theater. I was the artistic director. I directed 3 to 4 plays a year and was constantly reading plays, writing plays, producing them, directing them, designing lights and sets, acting a little bit, not as much as I did in the past or since then. So yeah, I got burnout doing it because I was doing so much theater and was grossly underpaid. I was doing full-time work for part-time pay and blah, blah, blah. So I just resigned my post there after a couple of years and just took a remedial job that I actually already had and did that a little bit more. So I decided I still needed a creative outlet, and I'd always wanted to paint. It was kind of the first thing I ever remember wanting to be when I grew up was an artist. So I just decided to buy an easel and buy a canvas and some paints and just start playing around. So I started off with acrylics. Seemed like it was probably the easiest to kind of learn on, and dries quick and all that kind of stuff. So that's still what I'm using. I've never played around with watercolor or oil, but at some point I'll probably check it out, and because like I said, I do like to challenge myself. So yeah, when did I start? That was probably 2008, I think, if my timeline in my head's going correctly. I don't know, I'm getting old, so it's hard to remember all this stuff. But yeah, so I've still ended up doing, God, I've probably sold like 60 to 70 paintings since then, and my house is basically just a gallery, like you can see behind me. That's one of them that I just did a couple years ago. Just, I get an idea, it kind of works itself out in my head, and once it wants to come out, it just forces me to kind of sit down and do it, because otherwise I can't sleep at night. And that's the same way it is with writing for me or any of my other creative artistic endeavors. So yeah, that's all the questions that I've gotten. So thanks everybody for asking and contributing, and hopefully we can all get to know each other better and still have fun following each other. All right, awesome, thanks.